Hey, music lovers, Sara J here. Looking for an inclusive space where you can connect with fellow fans, deep dive into your favorite music, and be a part of something special? Well, look no further. Join us on Patreon, where music and community come together. Get exclusive content, behind the scenes access, and a place to geek out over the artists you love, plus explore music you haven't heard yet. Come hang out with us. Patreon.com/DATC Media Company. That's patreon.com/DATC Media Company. See you there. A member of the DATC Media family.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to talk to you. I'm excited to bring your music to my listeners. Like that is my whole vibe with my media company. I'm sure you got in on that and realized that's what
Yes.
my whole deal is about is it's it's about the ethos of community and music and those feels that music gives you and that energy when you're playing live or experiencing it live, and just music is so captivating to me, and just all the things that it does and can do and
Yes.
everything. And so I'm excited that this has allowed me to talk to so many very cool people. Like how else would we have crossed paths? I love this.
Yeah, I think about that kind of stuff all the time where like I don't even totally know like just the way that this even happened, that like we even
Totally.
connected of like that kind of stuff for me is like our connector through that is just like I don't know, like Craig was literally there was hundreds of people that I could have picked of on this site, and I clicked Craig, and this dude just ended up being like I've only been talking with him and seen him for the last like 2 months, but maybe not even that long, but it's just been so neat, and like I totally like can see like the extension of like meeting Justin, who took some photographs of one of our shows, just like the people who I've met like through your guys' stuff has just been like the energy is just so good and positive, and just like it's such a just like immediate like community, which is really cool. And so yeah, that was just really special. And yeah, I don't know, it's just so weird, like I don't know, I was literally looking for a therapist, dude, and this guy just literally I literally could have picked that one of anybody, and this dude just is just so awesome, and like he's been just so great and already for yeah, just been super awesome person to talk to, and it was super great having him come out to the show. He literally brought like 10 people, and like I was just like all these kids who were having such an awesome time and stuff. Like he brought all his kids and all their friends came, and like it was really special, and like it was like my favorite show of the summer that we played, and it was like our last show of the summer too, and it was pretty neat because we played one show at that venue earlier on in the summer, and it was honestly not one of the better shows of the summer. It was one of my least favorite. And so I was like, all right, we got this show coming up. We'll see. But I knew Craig was bringing all the people out, and I was like, it's going to be really fun. I was super excited for it. And it just like launched this connection. And it's just, yeah, it's just been super cool. It's super neat how like, um, I don't know. I feel like music is just the prime connector of people.
Totally.
It,
Well, and it was so cool you bring up Justin because I got in contact with Justin because of Craig also. And he had done, I think it was two shows and then did your show. And then he's actually doing two more shows this weekend for the media company. He's doing a show Friday and Saturday. And we're already talking about where we want to send him for New Year's. So, like, it's been this
sweet.
amazing connection in that area, which, I mean, I'm based out of Buffalo, New York. So it's great to have a connector to spread it nationwide, but what an amazing hub of live music to have a concert photographer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's like I don't know. I'm from Loveland. Grew up out here in about an hour north of Denver, and it's just like I don't know, the music scene in Denver and Fort Collins, I feel like is like so cool. It's always kind of adapting and stuff, but like there's just always so much going on, and there's so many venues, and like there's new venues popping up or switching owners or whatever. But there's always stuff to play, and there's always people like wanting to be out at stuff, and
So
yeah, I
you
don't know.
think
It's
that
just
helps? You think that actually helps out a young band coming up? Like you don't feel that there's like a lot of competition because there's so many places, there's so many bands. Like how do you
I,
feel about that?
I don't think so. I never really see stuff like too much like competitive with music because like I feel like if you're being authentic to yourself, it's like you're only really competing with yourself, and that's kind of
For
how I try
sure.
and think about it, where it's like, I mean, sure, like I don't know, there's like stuff where you're like, oh damn, that was really good. Let's do something really good, But like I think that's like a that's just like a artistic thing that runs through everybody, anyways. When you see something great, you're like, shit, I want to do something great.
For sure.
And so,
Use
but
that
I
as
don't th-
inspiration instead of turning it into, that's one of those moments as an artist or human, but as an artist where you can either take it as like, shitting on yourself or take it as an inspiration and being like, let's try to strive for that, seeing it in I try to see things like that now, like change my mindset when, I see somebody doing something like media that I want to be doing. It's like, I see that as like the universe showing me that it's something that I can do. And so that's why it's crossing my field in whatever way I'm seeing it.
I love that. Yeah, I don't know. I literally was there's this picture of Cat Williams behind me on my wall right there,
Yeah.
and it's because I have this thing with Cat Williams that's like what you were talking about, where it's like I have this weird things where I've seen him one time on the street in Austin and never said anything to him, but it was this weird moment in my life where I just felt like I was really supposed to be there. And we had this weird thing where like, and I don't know, and then he just popped up at weird moments of time. Cause like, I don't know, it's not like I'm thinking about Cat Williams a lot, but there's just these moments where like he pops up in this like weird, like mythical way where I'm just like, whoa, so I can't even totally explain, but that same thing where like, I don't know. And I feel like you just have these things for you where it's like certain like path markers, whatever they are, where it's like, um, you're like, all right, well, that's something that happens like that you were supposed to find on your course of
For
whatever
sure.
that may be. So
That happened to me today because there's been some things, coming back to talking about like manifestations, and there's some things in my life, like I said, there's things happening and there's things you're still waiting to bloom. And sometimes as a human, you're just like, what the actual fuck is taking so long, because we're so
yes,
impatient. Um, but it's funny because everybody in my life will joke and be like, oh, well, Sarah thinks everything is a sign from the universe. And I'm like, well, if you're fucking paying attention, it
literally
is
though.
okay. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you. Maybe you guys should be paying attention more. Okay. So today, like, I finished working out and I take a shower or whatever, and I like look out my window and I see something that is like, if you're paying attention, you like, and I like see this and I'm just like, well fucking played, universe. Well fucking played. Like, would you change your mindset about that? That's been my favorite thing in the past like year of my life is like my connection with the universe is like really kind of paying attention to what the fuck is going on, you
I
know?
love that. It really is like there's just so many distractions all the time. And so it's like really hard to like stay kind of tuned into that, I feel like. And like you can get taken out of it like so quick, where you're like, it literally takes 2.5 seconds of scrolling to just be like completely disconnected and just like your course of trajectory. Like that happens to me. I'll fall to that so easily. Like get home from work, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cook today. I'm gonna cook some stuff, and then I like sit down for a second, you hit the 2 second scroll, and the next thing you know, you're like, all right, I'm chilling. I don't have the capacity. And I don't know what it is, but like I feel like it just takes you off that like frequency of like just the connected. But I don't know. This is something that I keep up. I found this recently. I think you'll think this is pretty neat.
Okay.
This little painting that I found while walking my dog. It's just like this like little like cloud looking thing on this like little block of wood. But so what happened was I was just walking my dog, and I was honestly not having like a great day. I was like feeling real rough, not cool. And just was walking my dog and like saw on like one of those little boxes that like in the ground. I don't know, not like an electrical box out, but like it was pretty low into the ground. But this was set on top of it, and I was like, "What is that?" So I picked it up, and then on the back of it, it has like this little thing, and it says, "This art can be used as a guide back to the creative spirit within all of us, a visual, colorful meditation serving as a counterbalance to an existence in which too much of our time is spent in front of screens, smartphones, video games, computers, television, and other assorted electronic devices." But I just thought it was so cool because I was feeling just really disconnected from like my creative energy and my creative self. And then like I just found this weird message on the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like started crying when I found it. I was just, I know my dog was like, "What, are you good, brother? What's going on?" But,
I'm gonna
um,
start crying. Oh my
it,
God.
it was super powerful. And like, I love that. That's just like, we're talking of just like, if I hadn't have been like, I don't know, just like looking down, looking around, like I wouldn't have seen it, you know, like it would have been so easy to miss that. Like, but I don't know, maybe I was looking for it, you know? So, um, yeah, so I don't know, that stuff's just like always out there, I think. And like, yeah, I love that of just like, I don't know, you got to stay looking, you know?
You got to pay attention, and then you have to learn that you're not crazy. That's
Yeah.
the thing though too, is that, it's like you're not crazy. Like that was literally, yes, that is that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's with any of that too. It's just like there's just so much that's just like so unbelievable in the world and in everything that it's like why can't you believe a positive sign of inspiration? Like what's so hard to believe about that? You know what I mean? I think that's like a
Absolutely.
like something that people are real quick to dismiss, where it's like what why does that not hold as much weight as the crazy unbelievable bad shit, you know? Like in fact, like
100%.
it should hold a little more of a token of like inspiration and hope of like there is some shit. And like that's just what I think is so beautiful about art, and just any of that is just like the connection and just the where it's like I don't know, just the a lot less stuff matters when you got I think it's literally like some frequency stuff similar there, but like at a show or in music, people are just locked into that, and everybody is on that same frequency and that same beat and that same groove, whether they're totally like in it or not. That like their energy is there, and so like I feel like it plays on the room in a neat way. Um, but
We'll talk
yeah,
about
I
that
don't know.
experience from where you stand in the room on the stage. I mean, talk about that then, the frequency of being on the stage
So
with an audience.
like yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's there's I don't know. It's honestly just like really special to have like it feels like super surreal because it's like it takes so much for people to leave their house, like for real. Like
Yeah.
to literally like I know because it takes a lot for me to leave the house. Like I literally will do anything to not leave my 200 square foot studio apartment I'm currently sitting in. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so uh the fact that like that is an immediate ground level thing for me, like of just like appreciation and just like damn, everybody is here, whether they're here to see us specifically or not. Their energy is still here in this room, and they're about to give us their time, whether they knowingly know it or not. Like, because we're about to play for them and we're about to do some stuff. So it's like, um, so I think like that is just so cool in of itself that like people are just like um out
And
in an
spending
area
their time there too, time
to
is the most valuable thing we have. So they're taking the
yes,
time when there's probably literally 100 other things they could be doing.
literally everybody's got the longest to do list now. You know what I mean? So it's like um yeah, so that is just like super neat. And then really like okay, like one of the most like absolutely insane surreal, the we had like a 10-year show at the Aggie Theater, which is a theater in Fort Collins. It's like a 600 person theater. It's like probably like the biggest venue in Fort Collins. But we've been super fortunate enough to play there like I don't know, close to seven or eight times like over the years, opening for people. Talking Heads tribute band Start Making Sense. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
We played with Post Animal and Reptalian there. We played with the Fruit Bats there. Like so we've also played with a bunch of great like local bands there. Like local bills and stuff. But we were able to headline it for our 10-year anniversary on our album release, which was just super special. To be able to even have that as a thing to set up a 600 theater like on our own and be like, yeah, I mean, we obviously had the help of some awesome friends, local support bands, people in general, Plastic Forum, and Pleasure Assassins, who is now Jared from the Mega Mind of AM Pleasure Assassins is now our drummer, so that's super cool. Uh, but yeah, so anyways, we were able to do that, and that though, it was the most like it was the craziest snowstorm. It was we were like trying to sell the show for like months, doing all we could to sell the show. And we are like, oh, it's gonna be sick. The day comes and it's the craziest fucking snowstorm in mid March. Like
Of
I'm getting
course.
texts all day from people just like, hey, love to be there, can't come, can't come, love to be there. But then I mean, we still had like 150 people in there, and it was the most like it wasn't the most people we've played to, but it was the most like it was like we knew every single person in there, you know what I mean? Like just friends and family and like local bands and just like just peers and just everybody that like I don't know. So everybody who came out like we call it the real ones, you know what I mean? Like all
Yep.
the real ones really made it out and like it was it it yeah, I don't know. I can't, so there's like an experience like that where it's like the most like unifying and you just feel the most like um I don't know, it almost felt like this understanding of like all right, we understand what you guys are trying to do and we see that and we really like that and we appreciate it and we're here for it and so that was really like really special and there's like honestly nothing close to like what that I can't even really describe it as I'm doing right now. Because I don't even know. It's just so beautiful. And then there's also the flip side of that where it's like just like you're just like lounge music in the background and it's just like this super disconnect and it's like people would honestly rather you stop playing because you're disrupting their conversation
Conversations.
and it's kind of annoying and you're like all right so it's like there's literally like both flip sides of that and they can happen like a day and a half apart, you know what I mean? And so it's like I think that is like the coolest thing too about it where it's like this thing of like um I don't know. I feel like that just goes to like the human spirit of like it's just like sometimes you're really connected and sometimes you're really disconnected. And honestly, sometimes those shows where like the crowd is really disconnected, I think I'm like that's on me where I'm like that maybe was something like that was maybe a disconnect in myself and I didn't show up the way I wanted to show up to perform and I didn't show up in the way that like my band needed me to perform and I didn't like I wasn't as present as I could have been, which could have maybe alleviated some of that like weird distantness, you know? And so I think that's like a weird thing that comes to it where like, I don't know. I love basketball. I love the NBA. I'm a huge basketball fan. And so I watch a lot of Nuggets and a lot of basketball and like those fools, they still got to show up when they've got the flu and they got to like run down the court and perform at like a super high level or whatever. You know what I mean? And so like I think of it in a comparable way of like it's like there's still like outstanding things that happen, but you still got to figure out how to like show up and find that connection or whatever. And like but it can be so hard when it's just like disconnected from the get, you know. Um, but I don't know when there is that connection there. There's genuinely like no experience like that, and no like yeah, that just is like some of the most grateful. Just seeing people like yeah, come together like that is just super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And just vibing off of their energy and people just vibing in it, their eyes closed. And I just love watching people at shows, just watching people, whatever it is that is going on, they're processing things, they're having memories, they're just vibing in it. And just, it's a beautiful thing.
Really, I feel like it's one of those like group things of just like it's really easier to lose your sense of self like in a group like that, you know what I mean? And like I feel like that's like one thing that like I really try and do at like satellite pilot shows. Like I'm the biggest goddamn fool at a satellite pilot show you ever gonna see. I'm having the most fun. I'm dancing the silliest. I'm being the craziest motherfucker because I want there to be that thing of like, well, that fucking weirdo's doing it. I want to be crazy. Like I want to dance like an idiot. Like I want to have fun. Like I don't care. Like and
Yep.
so it like that for me is what it is of like having this thing of like trying to be like break that down of like nah, ain't nobody finna be cool, ain't nobody finna feel like that. We all finna just break it down and have fun and be silly and be weird and maybe start crying a little bit and then maybe we'll get back to the other part and then so
That's
but
how it
yeah,
is on
that
my show though too. I feel the same
yeah,
way, as I've learned to be vulnerable with my guests from the get, and it's like, all right, we're gonna be real here, and if you want to cry, you want to get teary-eyed, you want to laugh, you want to swear, you want to do whatever, let's have a good time and hang out. So,
yes.
totally. So, I want to know where music came into your life. Like, take me back. Where did your passion for music start, and what music were you raised on?
Yeah, so honestly, like, so music came into my life super early. My dad is a musician, and so that was like really like my uh start. Like, I just always kind of been around music. My mom got me a guitar for my third birthday, so I've like always had, as far as long as I can remember back, I've always had a guitar in my room, you know. So like that's always been something that's been a part. And then like yeah, my dad, when I was a kid, lived out in Kansas, so I'd go out there and visit him and just see him like recording with his band, go out, sit in with him at band practice and stuff. And just being a little kid, I was like, what a world is this, you know? Um, and so I think that really was like part of my beginning fascination into it. And then like in my like I don't know, like Satellite Pilot started in eighth grade for me, so that was like we're now maybe like 13 years now of being a band. So
Love this.
um, so I, but in that when it started, it was like I would go out and visit my dad in he lived in California at the time, and so I'd go out and visit him, and he had like a whole studio set up in just like studio room, and I would just go out there, and he would literally just we'd just record songs together. He'd show me like so that was really like how I learned how to do all kinds of recording and like actually even before that in second grade he helped me record a song so like I think that just was always kind of like I just loved the process of recording and just being like, oh, you can literally just like make a song, like or you can just like get the stuff and just do it. I was like, that's crazy, you know. I that always fascinated me. I was like, that's so recording. Like I have a second grade, third grade thing that said, when I grow up, I want to be a recording engineer. That's somewhat shifted. I don't really want to be a record. I'd like to just, I like recording my own music. You know, I've done some recording and stuff, and it is very tedious. And shout out to all the engineers because that's a tedious job, you know? Um,
Literally. Yes. I
yeah,
I edit my own podcast, so I could only imagine like that
yeah,
is a pain in it and an ass in itself. So I can only imagine like seriously.
yeah. So, and it I don't know, when you're recording your own music, it's a bit easier of like, I don't know. You're just listening to your own shit over and again. Not you don't have to listen to something that's just some whatever. But I don't know. I think that yeah. So that really is kind of like where it started was just like that connection, and then also like not with like aside from my dad, like just going like as a kid to like my great grandma's church. She like played organ and piano at the church, and it was just this like little old classic like Loveland church, just very like a Baptist, like oh no, it's a Church of Christ actually. But whatever. I don't know. I literally don't know the distinction.
I
I don't
don't
know
know
what
the
that relates
distinction
to.
either.
But but at any rate, just like a small little church with a piano and somebody playing organ, classic vibes. But I always used to love it. It was so fascinating that she would like get up at the beginning and like go to the front and like play the organ, and everybody would sing to her playing the organ and stuff. And it was just like this like really special like group thing. And like so I always really
Feel
loved
that
that.
group vibe with the music. It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah. And so I
Fulfillment,
loved
that's
that.
all.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I that actually like one of the coolest I have my piano that is up on a bunch of Satellite Pilot albums came from that church in the basement. It was the piano that my mom used to listen to at Sunday school and stuff. So like it's
Dude,
pretty
that's
special.
so cool.
Talk about okay, you want to talk about signs too. I got
Yes.
this piano. My mom was gonna get it tuned for me. I opened the lid of the piano and the date the last time, like when they sign it when they tune it or whatever on the inside. And the last one, it hadn't been tuned in like 20 years, so it's super fucking out of tune. But the last time it had been tuned was on my actual birthday. Um, like just that with date is written on the inside of my
I
piano.
have literal
Um,
fucking goosebumps right
and
now.
so I was like, I can't ever get rid of that. I don't have it right now. It's at my dearest friend Caden and Cody. Cody's my bass player, but it's at their place, so they have taken good care of it, playing it for me. But it's like I'm just like that thing has got to stay in my life forever. Like I've written a lot on it, and like it's just one of those things where like she gave it to me, and like that's part of my big foundation of music was like seeing her in church play the piano, and the organ.
Oh my
But I
God.
yeah, so that's like a crazy sign. And like I had this crazy thing where I was like I'm not going to get it tuned for another 20 years, and then I moved it twice and I was like that actually might not happen. I think we got to tune this shit. Um but so those were like really like two of my like big like foundations of like being into music. And then from that, like my dad, it was just like basically got me into like I've been listening to like the Elephant Six stuff, Neutral Hotel, Olivia Tremor Control, Apples in Stereo, like that stuff since I was like a little kid, like 6 and 7. Like so that stuff is really like foundational for me. And like that kind of more like experimental type of stuff. And then like I literally wrote down some of my music list because I knew this would come up. I was like, I can't forget any of
I
my
love it.
sweet loves of music.
Yes,
But like
perfect.
really like the Beach Boys and the Beatles were like really big. Like the Beatles, I was the biggest fucking Beatles kid of all time. Like I loved the Beatles. They were like this thing of like I don't know what it was. I just was obsessed with them. My dad, when I was 7, gave me a copy of Sergeant Pepper's and Pet Sounds on vinyl, and I have both of them still in my collection. Neither of them work because I've played them so many times, and they're just all shitty and
Of
skippy. But
course. Of
they're
course.
they're uh they're still in there. And he said, and if you want to be a musician, these are two of the pivotal albums of that musicians have. And he gave me that, and he told me that, and I'll never forget that conversation and getting those gifts at Christmas. And I thought that was a very very neat special thing. And so like those two bands always kind of like are super big for me in the 60s vibe because I really really love 60s pop. Like 60s pop music is like kind of what I think Satellite Pilot music is, but through a modern lens.
Totally.
Because like I just love pop music and I love like super catchy hooks. And with that, like the Kinks are like one of my favorite bands. I think the Kinks have like some of the just like most like underrated pop songs of all time. I mean, I don't know if they're underrated,
It's
but
so funny that you're saying this because I'm looking at my notes and I listened to your favorites that you sent to me to go through. I was listening to them today, and I even have like a note here that the English rocker vibes is what I put
yeah.
for some of the songs. And there was another song you sent me. I wrote here is reminded me of Genesis. I'm a big Genesis fan,
Oh, nice.
so I was
Okay.
like, this one's kind of giving me a little bit of like the Genesis vibe. So it's funny that you're talking about this. I'm like, okay, yep, we're on the same wavelength here.
Well, and I feel like one of the things that with the like 60s rocker thing that I love that is like the charactery type of shit where it's like
Totally.
that to me like that something about like it frees up writing so much when you're not like I don't know, we have so many songs where I'm like this isn't me, right? Like this isn't from my perspective or whatever, like this isn't, or like this isn't even something that like I whatever, but it's like a character or like a creation of a character or some lens or some like But I feel like yeah, the kind of like Britishy rock of like the 60s that was real big on that of just like goofy characters and or like yeah, so like I feel like that is something that kind of really stuck with our stuff.
That would have been such a cool time and place to be too. Like just the art
Oh,
and the music and the fashion and the people and the
mm-hmm.
ideology and the poetry and the writers and
I
yeah.
know, just everybody. Yeah, I don't know, and I honestly think we're kind of getting into a new time like that where it's like just fucking be authentic and be weird and do what you're gonna do and just like people like I don't know. There's just some like I feel like people are kind of tired of like super like polished vibes of everything and like everything being super like um yeah, I think people just want like real stuff because like everything is so just like manicured for what like fucking Instagram and like whatever. It's so just like manicured to look a certain way and be a certain way that I feel like people are just like, I don't know, just be yourself, dude. We'll be cool or whatever, you
Because
know.
we're all just
Um,
people trying to people on the planet,
we're all just
right?
trying to figure it out, dude. So
Figure it out. All right,
um
finish your list. I want to hear what else you have on your
okay.
list.
I got a lot. Okay. The
I love it.
Association is another 60s band that I love. Windy, I think, is one of the most perfect 60s pop songs of all time. Um,
Okay.
what else do I got on the list? Okay. The Flaming Lips
Oh
are
yeah.
like they're pretty much like they were the first band I saw. My dad took me to see them in the Brian Jonestown Massacre at the
Ooh,
Monolith Liths Festival when I was
lucky.
7. It was so cool at Red Rocks and like it was so powerful and like I just remember seeing that Flaming Lips show and I was like that is like what I want to fucking do, dude. Like that, like their level of like show and like the level of like the way that people were received, like the way, like what, you know what I mean? Like the love and the energy that is in like a Flaming Lips audience was like so intense. And so, um, they're just, they're just like on a level for me of just like, I guess like, I don't know. I say artistic integrity, you know,
I like that.
where it's like, and that's something that like I try in, I don't know, with a lot of the groups on my list that I have here, I think are people who like just kind of value the art of it and the music of it, you know, and like are really trying to like, um, yeah, they're just making art, and it's like it's not, it doesn't matter what the vibe is, they're just making cool shit they want to make. Um, so the
Yep.
Flaming Lips are huge for me. Doctor Dog, um,
Mhm.
Animal Collective, super big. Granddaddy, love like some like '90s indie vibe. Pavement and like Stephen Malkmus and the Jicks stuff. Those like
My
some of my favorite
bestie is a
guitar.
huge Pavement fan. He actually did a Pavement podcast.
Oh, that's sick. Did
Yeah,
you
my
see that?
buddy
Did
is
you?
in Canada. He did a podcast that was all about pavement. He'll listen to this and he's gonna geek out. I'll text him
Dude,
after this and tell him that my
that
guest totally brought up pavement. He'll be excited.
I love I love Stephen Malkmus and like I love the little the like Pavements movie that came out this year. I don't know if you saw that. It
No.
was it was pretty good. It was on like it's on Mubi or something. But
Okay.
you know, there's always some new like streaming thing. But
Always.
it was pretty neat. It was like this I don't know. It wasn't really a biopic. It was just it was a weird movie. But I just love kind of his lyric writing and like hyper like I feel like Pavement stuff is like hyper specific. Like I feel like they kind of started that indie thing of like the lyric writing of like really like specific things and then making it super broad. I can't bring a great example right now because I just don't have one.
Good.
But yeah, but I don't know. Just talking about something you know you should be blushing to a hue of Robitussin. That's like a Stephen Malkmus line from a recent from Middle America. But that's like a line that I really like of like something ultra specific of like Robitussin, but it broadens it of like I don't know. I feel like he just does that really great, and so that has always been super inspiring. LCD sound system. I like me some beats. I like
They're
some
great.
love some dance.
Totally.
So that Wilco. Got some like jazz stuff. Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters. love that stuff. Really a lot of the just like 60s jazz stuff. I read Herbie Hancock's book Possibilities a couple years back, and if you haven't read that, or I listened to the Audible book of it, but it's so fucking cool and inspiring. Uh, um, it's he just talks about all these jazz musicians. And I learned that's basically where I learned like a bunch of jazz stuff, and I just would listen. He'd like start talking about somebody, and I'd go listen to some of their stuff, and like Tony Williams and Wynton Marsalis, and like a bunch of those people who just like played with Miles Davis and with Herbie Hancock, and were just kind of like adjacent, and like um, Wayne Shorter, all those kind of dudes. Like I love um, that kind of like it kind of really brought the community of like the jazz scene together. Like reading that book, you kind of like understand there's just this huge connectedness of just I don't know musicians, you know.
I love that.
Um, so
I love books by and about musicians, so I'm definitely gonna add it
it
to my list.
it's really good. It's also really cool. It got he's really big into like Nichiren Buddhism, which
Okay.
is like pretty neat and like kind of I started like kind of checking some of that stuff out. There's like some cool chants and stuff they do that are kind of that I was kind of getting into for a little bit and stuff. But it's just, and he also reads it and just has a really nice reading voice, so it's just it's a good listen.
Fuck
But
yeah, okay.
but yeah, so he was super inspiring to me. Outcast and Kendrick Lamar. I love hip hop stuff. Honestly, hip hop is the majority of what I listen to. Just like the energy and the hunger and the drive vibes of hip hop and the like realness and authenticity to it. I feel like I like just gravitate towards. Um, and, yeah, just like the energy. So like that's I don't know, West Side Gun, Doechii. I love Doechii. Um, uh, J. Cole. There's just a lot of those artists who I think Daniel Johnston is not in hip hop, but Daniel Johnston is one of my big artists. Artistic integrity is like that. That to me is like that I feel like is I don't know. I feel like that's honestly really big in hip hop because I feel like it's just there's so many uh lanes that people really just end up doing what they want to do, you know? And like you can hear it super specifically in their style and their cadences and their word choices and their things like that. And so that's just like really inspiring to me, I guess. But yeah, I think that's like, oh, the new Clips album was so good. I loved the new Clips album on hip hop. Jid, also his new album was fire. Freddie Gibbs, super good. Um, but those are just like I don't know some of the people that I just listen to a lot of. I feel like where something about their voice or their delivery or I don't know, just the energy that they are in. I feel like is it's like a good headspace where it's just like it's just like a drive. I don't know. It's like it's also like there's a lot of hip hop has this like not the beefy side of it, but like the like there's like this side of like you've really got to believe in yourself, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's really big in it, and like that's something like
And you have
okay,
to
like
advocate for yourself.
yes,
Yeah.
and so none of his stuff recently, but Kanye West middle albums for me, like Yeezus specifically, and like My Dark Twisted Fantasy, like that shit, like some of that shit where it's like it's so clearly like this bravado or whatever that's put on, but it's like ain't nobody gonna put that on for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta like strap up and tell yourself you're the shit and cook, like you know. And
Yep.
so like because
Yep.
it's so easy. There's so much that tells you you're not, you know, like so much stuff is there to remind you constantly that you're just like a human, you know? And so it's like
Sure.
sometimes you got to tell yourself that like you are a human, but like your capabilities are like whatever you want them to be, you know, like you're capable of whatever you think you are.
Yep. And how
So
much whatever standing in your way is really actually you.
yes,
Yep.
yes,
Yep. Like
100%.
it's you. Yep.
That's yeah.
That's a whole other mind fuck conversation for
I
another
was gonna say
podcast.
that. I was gonna say that's low key what I've been having a little bit recently because we got some stuff we're trying to
Big
finish up, and I was
same.
like, man,
Big
I was like,
same.
why is this taking so long to finish? And then I was like, Oh, it's you, brother. It's you making it take so long. All right.
And then you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right,
But
fuck.
also though, what is also nice about that though, at least for me, where I'm like, all right, well, I literally can't do shit about what other people do. So I literally, that means I just know I gotta like step on it or something, or like do something different, or like do something, and like that's kind of refreshing, I guess, because like sometimes, at least for me, like I get super just like in the same cycles super easily, like mentally, or like just headspace, or like even routine of like, even if it's a not a good routine, or not a routine at all, like, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing is super easy for me to fall into. And then like yeah, I think I don't know, you just start slipping.
Oh yeah, you got to keep yourself in check.
But
Literally.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
to. You have to. You got to keep yourself in check. That's what it is. And then talk to yourself too. Sometimes I'm just be like, "Really, Sarah? Really?" Like calling
ish.
yourself out, but you got to get there because I wasn't always like that. I always wasn't capable of calling myself out and handling that, and that brutal honesty and responsibility with myself took a lot of work to get there, and to not beat yourself up when you call yourself out, giving
Right,
yourself that
yeah.
grace and kindness along with calling yourself out. That's the part of it.
Right, because yeah, or else it just ends up being counterproductive or whatever,
Literally.
where you're just getting on yourself and you can't do it because you're like, God damn it, you feel bad about it or whatever. So,
For sure.
yeah, I totally relate to that, and like, but that is, I think, too, where it's like it is hard when it's like you're just like trying to build something with like whether it's like, you know what I mean, like, so it's like I don't know. I've always said like, to me, satellite pilot, I call it the ever expanding energy machine,
Love this.
because I think the energy you put into it is the energy you get out of it, and so I think that a lot of stuff in life is like that. But that's really how I like to like look at the band and stuff. Like we've had like, I don't know, a bunch of members over the years, like a bunch of just different switches, and we've done a bunch of different cool stuff, and I don't know. I just think like all of the times, like, yeah, it's just the energy that you put in is the energy that you get out. It's literally like a law of conservation of energy, where it's like you're not going to get more energy than you put into it. You're just not, like, you're not going to get, there's not going to be some like magic swoop that, like, until the energy that you've put in is equivalent to the scoop that happens or whatever. And so like
I just had
um
this conversation with one of the companies that I work with, and we were talking about some different things, and that was the exact analogy I said too, was like the energy that you're pouring in is not being met. And therefore, this is why the dynamic is not working the way that you're hoping. The machine is not working the way you're hoping it is, because it's not being poured into in both ways,
Even, yeah.
because
Hmm.
yeah, it's the truth about anything, even, I'm a single mom, and it's the same thing even like with my kids, sometimes. And that's been, talk about brutal honesty with yourself being a mother. um there'll be moments where I'll have situations with my kids, and I'm like, how am I showing up in this moment? Am I showing up with an attitude? Like, am I literally being a bitch right now? Like, of course everybody else is going to show up how they are, because look at how I'm showing up right now, and like
Right.
hacking yourself, and how much energy am I pouring into them? Are they, if I feel like, oh, they don't want to be hanging out with me or something, it's like, well, have I been pouring that energy into them? Have I been like, hey, what's going on with you guys? You know what I mean? Like pouring
Right.
that energy in to get that back. Like, it's important in anything that you do with any human being, animals too, for sure. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, just anything. Like, I feel like it's just with the signs that we're talking about, it's just like there's you just gotta like find like some sort of like balance in between that, of like because it's just all always going on, like everybody's things are always going on. Like, I don't know, there's literally so many things I'm trying to connect in my brain right now. So it's like uh, I don't know. I just feel like so much going on, and a lot of people like try and take stuff on that is unasked of them, or like unplaced upon them, and then like they get like this thing of like, man, I'm fucking burnt out. And it's like of these things that they end up taking on their own accord, or like that they could have really like tried to mitigate or whatever, out of trying to be helpful. But then you end up weighing yourself down. Like I find myself in this balance of like, sometimes you're like, oh damn, I've helped like 5 people move this week, and I'm just like cooked, or what, you know what I mean? Where it's like whatever the
Totally.
thing is, and you're like, all right, it's like, but then that like fourth person who you're trying to help move, you're like show up grouchy and tired or whatever, you know what I mean? And then it's like you're not, it's this super counterbalance of whatever. And so um yeah, I don't know. I just think there's like so much going on. But I feel like we're honestly like getting to a place of like on a real like person to person level of like sufficient like grace, and everybody sees how much is going on. Like when you're just talking to another person, it's like, yeah, dude, there's a lot of shit, and we're all just like really kind of trying our best in whatever. Like I feel like everybody has so many like filters and sponges that like they see the world through, and that like filters that they've picked up intentionally and filters they picked up unintentionally just through life, that like affect how you experience the world. And so like, but really when you like are just talking with one person and you get through those kind of filters, and you're just like, yeah, dude, none of us actually know what the fuck we're doing, and we're all just like trying to make it work and like trying to figure that out, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, that was one of the craziest moments to me when I realized that like I think everybody has this moment in their life when you realize that your parents are just people, you know what I mean, that are
We
like,
just talked about this. My episode that came out on Tuesday, my guest and I were talking about that was, that you get to that point where you realize that your parents literally had no fucking clue either.
just people. I keep this picture up of my parents. I'll show it because it's cute. But
Love
they're
it.
literally, my mom and my dad were
Oh,
literally little kids with the
they're
kid. You
young.
know
I
what
was
I
gonna
mean?
say your dad
Yeah,
looks really young.
yeah. They were 18 and 19, and so like
Yeah, he
I
looks so
keep that in
young.
context with like when I like look back and stuff. I'm like, damn, for being kids, my ass could not have done. I would never. I could not have done that. Like I could not have done that at an 18-year-old. No way. I could not have done that. So like, I mean, shouts out my mom mostly. Bless up, mom. But but yeah, like that kind of thing. Where you're just like, damn, they're all just like people. Like it just everybody is just a person. And I feel like your parents, once you get that thing with your parents, you start to realize that with everybody, because like I feel like your parents have this like certain level where you just think they know, that they have this like reserve of knowledge or something that like you don't, like, you know what I mean? You're like
Oh
they
yeah,
have this
trust me,
like,
I know. Being the mom that does not
yeah,
have the
yeah,
reserve of knowledge.
yeah, okay, exactly,
But
exactly. And
thankfully,
so
I'm a mom when Google's around. So
yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. You say we've got somewhat of a reserve.
me and Google co-parenting since.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just
But I don't know though.
crazy.
There are definitely like my dad. My dad passed away in '06, and I miss him dearly every day. But my dad definitely knew things. Like I feel like I could have called my dad for anything, and like somehow he did know. And I'm
Yeah,
like, but how do you know though? Because I
yeah,
certainly don't know. Like now I'm like, what did I miss here?
yeah. I actually do have those moments too, though, where like, yeah, you just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like dads have that thing though, where they
I
just,
think so.
even if they don't know, they give it to you like they know, and then it ends up somehow being that they were like, you know what I mean? Like they're just like somewhat fairly certain, and they're like, eh. And like I don't know. I was without air conditioning all summer because I have one window in my apartment, and it didn't open because it's like an old office building. And so in my place has a skylight, and so it literally would just like turn into a little sauna in here, and it was like
Ugh.
95 degrees inside. And I was like hounding my landlords all summer. They finally switched my thing, and my dad was like, "All right, dude, I'll come out for the weekend and like help get AC for you and put it in and all this." And I was like, "Damn, sick, thank you." And then he came out, and then the guy was like, "Hey, don't touch this for 24 hours. Like the caulking's got to dry, and it's got to, oh, whatever, and don't open it for 24 hours." And I was like, and then I like text my dad. I was like, "Dude," and he's like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And he just came in and put the thing in. And I was like that is the most like, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, all right, dude. And sure enough, I mean, it's fine. But
Thanks, Dad.
yeah, I'm like, I honestly, my landlords took so long to get the window in. I don't care if they have to redo it at a different point of time. It's not my problem. I'm
That's
like,
a them problem, not a you
my dog
problem.
was sweating all summer, dude. You think I went all summer without AC, and that's not going in the first minute and a half y'all leave this building? You're crazy. You're crazy. Yeah.
Too funny, too funny. All right, let's talk about satellite pilots some more. So
Yes.
you told me that this band started when you were in eighth grade. So you've gone through some different iterations over that time. So tell me who's in the lineup now.
So in the lineup now, pretty awesome. So Sierra Fournier is like our just like wizard uh magician. She's got like I don't know. She like went to school for like harp. She plays like classical harp, and so we have like some harp stuff on our records, and like we used to take her big ass full harp to shows and stuff. We had to. It got a little flood damage, and it's a little under the weather, so we've got to get that thing mended up for get some bandages on it and stuff. But so she plays. I mean, she plays everything guitar. She has her music is out under TPRA. She's got a really awesome album out called All My Years to You. And then I'm also helping her. I'm doing some drums on a new album that she's working on that'll be super awesome. So she's just great singer. She plays keys in our band a lot. Mostly does key stuff and sings. And then but yeah, she does harp, guitar, whatever kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
And then her girlfriend Amy is in our band and plays. Um, well, she does extra percussion right now. She sings. She does some keys. She does some guitar. She does also everything. So that's been awesome. She was in the group for about a year and played bass with us, and then she moved to Tennessee and Hawaii for a little bit. And so then we got well, we already had Cody at that time too. But then we've got Cody, our bass player, Cody Albin, who is awesome. And his brother actually is how I met him. His brother, Caden, was our old drummer. And before he was our drummer, he played guitar and then he played keyboards in the band. So everybody kind of just has done everything in the band. And it's pretty special. Our group is like uh, super fluid. It's honestly, it's just like my huge extra large family, where it's like
I love that.
there's everybody comes and go. If somebody needs to quit, whatever, go do their own thing, cool. If you ever want to join again, you can come back and play. Maybe we have somebody who's playing that, but you can come back and do whatever the fuck else we can put you. You know what I mean? So it's
I
like
love that.
there's always like kind of there's always space for anybody who wants to be there, who's been in the group and who's ready to whatever, like it's never yeah. And our old bass player, Lucas, who's like one of my greatest, dearest, sweet boys and collaborators. He does like he's shot like all of our music videos and stuff, most of them, almost all of them. Um, so he's like a film wizard. He does editing and video stuff, and just he has the visual eye or whatever. So he left the band about a year and a half ago, maybe two, and he helped us do a music video the other day. So like it's still like I don't. And Caden, Cody's brother, has been helping me mix our new EP that we're working on. He's a fucking wizard at mixing music, and so I do most of our recordings and stuff, but I really like to try and get like him when I'm mixing it to like I don't know. He's just got good ears. My boy got good ears. So
Gotta
um
have it.
yeah. So these kind of those dudes aren't in the band at the moment, but they're extended and always kind of
Extended members.
they're always kind of in there. And then our drummer is Jared Meyer. He's awesome. His band is AM Pleasure Assassins. He's also does a bunch of other stuff. He's super. involved in the Fort Collins music scene, and he works for like Foco MX, the like music association up there that like puts on the big music festival in town and stuff every year. And um, so he's just, and honestly, I've known him for years and years, like playing shows together and stuff. And like he's a really good photographer too, and he'd take pictures at our shows and stuff. And like just one of the homies. And funny enough, at that 10-year show that they opened up for us, he literally I was on stage sound checking, and this was like 3 in the afternoon. This was it honestly was such a wild night. I jumped off the stage to run and give him a hug because I saw him out there, and the stage at the Aggie is maybe like 3.5, 4 feet tall. And they also had one of those like barriers, like one of those metal
No.
barricades. And I went to run and jump off the stage to go hug him, which should have been totally fine. I've literally jumped off that stage numerous times. I've done that same fucking thing. I was like, it'll be cool. My foot caught a cable and I like slid on it, and the cable took my momentum, and I just literally fell onto the barricade, and I got a hip contusion and like I have like this thing on my shin that's just never went away. And so literally like hours before the show, I fucked myself up so bad just trying to give this dude a hug. But I was like, what a good person to hurt myself hugging. Who just because he actually just joined the band. We went on a tour in March, and Caden stopped playing drums with us a couple months before that, and we were like, we need a drummer for tour. And I was just like, he's the dude to drum for us for tour. Yo, you want to do it? Yeah, I can drum for tour. He's in all kinds of projects, so we're like thinking maybe not the thing. Then we're playing. We're on our tour, and we're in New Orleans. We had just like a really good night out on the town, having fun in New Orleans. And then we're sitting like on the stoop out front, smoking cigarettes and chilling. And 4 in the morning, he's like, "Yeah, I'm y'all's drummer." Like he's like, I'm y'all's drummer, dude." So that was really cool. And then he's just been playing with us ever since. So that's been really special. So that's the four homies that are with right now. But yeah, just like some of my dearest lifelong friends, all of them I've just met through the band and like through each other. Like uh, I don't know, our extension is like it's like this. Yeah, it's just like a big family tree. Like everybody I really met from Lucas and Jeremy, who just helped us do the very first Satellite Pilot music video. Is called Crash Landed. Um, who the drummer in that video wasn't even our drummer. He's just our buddy who just pretended to be our drummer for the video. And like so it's like it's the and Nick Vasaki go he helped us do some of the recording for like one of our earlier albums, Anti-Gravity Hotel. So I don't know, it's just been super cool just like meeting everybody like through each other, and just having this group of like people who yeah are just like my dearest lifelong homies. Like Noah Shockley was our drummer for years and years, and he's so amazing and such a dude. And he moved to Chicago a couple years ago, and like it's just so cool because like when he comes into town, like literally we didn't have a drummer. We were supposed to play the show and we didn't have a drummer. And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll play drums for the show." But he was in town, and so I was like, "Okay, I wonder if Noah. He hasn't practiced with us in like a year and a half, 2 years. He hasn't been playing with us." I'm like, "Hey, dude, you want to come and just like play a couple songs on drums with us and like whatever, you know what I mean?" I'm like always trying to get him. And then our friend Sean, who is they had a band together called Bloomers, who's like a kind of like alt hard rock Northern Colorado band. They were so fucking good. We used to play with them a lot, like starting out, and they were just like kind of the dudes that like I looked up to because like I just was really like high school and stuff. I didn't really know a lot of music people and a lot of stuff like that, but I knew those dudes. I knew Noah, and I was like, those are like the fucking those are the cool dudes. Those dudes know what's up. Those are dudes got going. They be playing shows, be doing all this cool shit. And then Lucas, my dearest sweet friend Lucas, played bass for them at the time, and he would always be going out of the country or some family trips or something. He's like, I only left the country like once, bruh. But like they would always call me in to play bass for him, and I never met the. I was like, well, actually, I did meet him once to do a recording, but I was like, this guy just is an enigma who's just always out of the country. And I'm like, we're in high school. What is this guy doing? You know? And it turns out he just ends up being one of my dearest friends in life. But it's just super special, and just everybody is like put so much into the satellite pilot energy machine. That's like the contributions of all, like my friend Jeremy Long is who helped us start with the videos, and then he didn't really play music. He was just like, yo, you wanna play the shaker and this conga and fucking start playing with us, like start doing some percussion. And then he started being a ripper on percussion, and we had him playing with us for years. And he was also just like a masterful, like he did a lot of our bookings when we did our tours. And like he's just a just one of the most like solid humans I've ever met. I love that dude. He's also a great cook. But he actually had me and Lucas, my girlfriend, over for dinner like a couple weeks ago. And he made some like Brazilian food that was like, it was this like steak that he like I can't even tell you what it's called, but it was. I was just like, fuck. I told him, I was like, bro, I would have paid like $25-$30 for this plate, dude. Like for real. It was so good. Um,
Hell yeah.
I don't know. That's a lot for me to pay for a plate. I don't know. I think that's a lot.
That's
I don't know.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I
know what
feel too.
I don't know. I don't know what New York vibe is on food, but I'm like $25. That's a lot of money for me to pay for one plate for myself. But um, but yeah. So like I've just gotten lucky with just like the most like inspiring like people around me who just like are constantly doing stuff and like pushing the boundary and always like, okay, you want to do what? All right, let's do that. Like that's crazy. Let's do that shit. Like um, I don't know. Like yeah, or like I don't know. It's just always been, yeah, they're just an inspiring group of people, and I'm super lucky to get to play
I
music with
was
them. And
gonna say it's a very lucky thing to have in your life for sure. So what inspired the name of the band?
so the band name came from a short story that my uncle wrote. So my uncle played guitar, and he was in him and my dad had a band when I was like a real little kid that was called the Ray Gun Administration. And they had this like EP that they put out
I
that's called
love that.
Satellite Pilot. And I know, right? Isn't that good? But they had this EP that was called Satellite Pilot, and like the ray gun stuff, that was really like my earliest, like 4 and 5 years old, like hearing my dad's music and stuff, and like hearing these songs where I'm just like damn, my dad's a musician, or what, you know what I mean? Like, you, because you as a kid you don't understand the levels, you just understand like this motherfucker be making music that's cool, like, or whatever. As like a kid you're just like vibing, you know.
For sure.
And so like that was just like the level. And like still like my dad is like, honestly, like one of that wasn't on my list, but the Dream Supreme is my dad's band, and all of their music is on Bandcamp. And he's one of like the most inspiring, best songwriters I've ever heard. His shit is just like, I don't know. I just listened to it. I just went through a huge thing the other day and listened to a bunch of his stuff, and like it's just like his level, like he's really where I got that thing of just like always trying to make like a perfect pop song. And it's like you're always just going for this like level of like yeah, I don't know. So that motherfucker be writing. Um,
Love
but
it.
so I got the title really came from that, though, is of this cosmonaut who was lost in space. His name was Challenger Winthrop, and he it's like set in the future, and he gets lost in space and like kind of loses connection from the Earth, and is kind of just stranded out there. And like middle school me really just like latched on to that vibe, and really loved Satellite Pilot, and kind of took that. And then the very first Satellite Pilot album is called The Return of Challenger Winthrop. And so it was kind of like just taking that story, and it really leans into that story of the cosmonaut stuff, and is really kind of in that vein, in the spacey vein. And that's kind of like started kind of more on the spacey side, and then now it's kind of I don't know. It's weird because that just kind of plays a role in it no matter what, because I think it's just a nice metaphor that I feel like fits with our stuff. But like, but yeah, it's kind of taken on its own meaning, I guess, of like, of what it is now, of just like, um, I don't know. Like I just, in the logo, like the logo was my uncle drew that, and then we like redesigned or whatever. But the head with the satellite, I feel like, is just like, yeah, it's just like human connection. It's just like
It goes
trying to
back to that
amplify your
whole, yeah,
signal, you know?
yeah,
And it's like trying to amplify your signal and maybe pick up a signal that somebody else, it's like this projection and this like, reception. Um, and so I think that was maybe like something that I really gravitated to from that. But
I love
but
that.
yeah, that's really where the name came from. And like I've just there's I've never like I don't know. I feel like so many bands and stuff like we could have easily switched our names so many times after losing members doing it. But I'm like, Satellite Pilot is kind of its like own thing. Like I write a lot of the songs and I do a lot of that stuff and like I put a lot of the energy in, but it's like I don't. It's not. I don't like I'm not the pilot. You know what I mean? Like it's not the group is the pilot. I think it's like the Voltron of the because without the group, it's just a fucking one dude playing guitar or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's like
Yeah,
it's this collective energy of everybody around me and everybody who's putting energy into me and putting energy into the group and who's given us any time or anything, any resources. Like my when we started the band in eighth grade, we started I lived in an apartment complex and my landlord at the apartment complex, you know how apartments have like a clubhouse or whatever, she like a just like a common area room or whatever, she would let us practice one day a week. She gave me a storage room in the back of it and would let me she would literally walk to her patio and throw down the keys for me after school, and I would get the keys from her and we'd walk over there with my buddies and we'd go in and we'd have this whole room and we'd get to be loud as fuck. And I lived in an apartment complex and like Zella Johnson is like she's like super.
fuck yeah.
She gave us two. She was one of the most high paying shows we ever had. She gave us 200 fucking bucks one year to play at like a Easter thing at this apartment thing, just because she knew like she had the money, the budget for it from the complex, and she knew like these and that bought a PA speaker that we literally still use to this day. I've had for fucking 13 years. You know
That's
what I mean?
amazing.
Where it's like so that energy, like all of that shit is the Satellite Pilot. That is what like is um yeah, it's just like a culmination of everything, and that's like I've never felt any inclination to switch it or anything like that of like nah, because regardless of it exists on its own. And so it's like it's kind of just like we got to fulfill the pilot's thing. Like we have this album called Challenger Presents Space Junk and Other Favorites, and the kind of slight concept behind that was that we got sent this collection of songs from Challenger Winthrop, who was lost in space, and while he was lost in space, his ship got stuck orbiting this planet and he couldn't contact them, but for some reason he kept getting radio frequencies through, so he decided to just start recording the radio. And so this collection of songs is just a tape of these songs from this weird planet in outer space that he sent us. um and so it's like that kind of ties back into it, but really it's just like this shit of like I don't know. And like the songs that right, it's like I don't, not a super conscious effort. Sometimes it is of like trying to find a song, but lyrically, it usually isn't of like, I don't believe that it's like us writing them and us making them. It's just, I believe that the song exists for the Satellite Pilot to pull. And it's like, we
Be
just
the
are
conduit.
the group that's the conduit for it. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. I fucking love that
It's,
so
it's,
much.
and it's just that's to me. It's just it's one of those things that it's like the energy machine where it's like it would be such a disservice to like switch it in any way of that where it's like it's been building for so long and it's like it's that same thing, it's that same energy where it's just like this culmination. And I feel like it's like a group thing of when it's ready, it'll be ready. And we're going to have about 25, 27 motherfuckers being like, hey, sir, let's go rock and roll. And I'm
I
going to say, let's
love
do it.
it. I love it. So talk to me about your new release then.
Yeah. So, our newest thing that we're working on, we've been working on a minute. Our last album was called For Reals.
Love it.
And it's, as in our like release for it, it was just like, it's just an attempt at being like I don't know a lot of it's some of the more like just straightforward songs I've written as far as like lyric content and like being super real and like because like I've always had fun writing characters and writing stuff like that, and then like that album was really trying to explore like writing from like actually my perspective of where I'm at currently and what's going on. Like one of the songs on there, like Up High Big Cloud, is like that's like one of my favorite songs on the album. And it was about like the best day and like the worst. It was like about this day where my dad and his now wife and my grandma and her wife all came over to me and my girlfriend at the time's house, and we had them over to our place for dinner, and like we were cooking pizzas, and it felt like this new level of my life where I was like, oh, I have my dad and my grandma here, and like they're at my place, and like it just felt like this new energy of thing. And it was like I was so grateful because my dad lives out of state and all that. And so I was so grateful for that day. And like, it was literally one of the best days. And then towards the end of the night, my grandma starts putting on her shoes, and somebody made a joke, and they're like, man, you're trying to make a quick exit, huh? And she goes, not quick enough. And then she like told us that she had pancreatic cancer, and it was like so fucking, and the entire like thing switched, and it was so heavy. She's okay. She actually like beat pancreatic cancer, so that's awesome. She's been traveling, doing all kinds of cool
Grandma.
shit. I know, right? She like be going all over. She goes to Greece. She'd be enjoying her retired
Hell
life, driving
yeah,
around her
grandma.
Mercedes and shit. Yeah, she's cooking. She's living it up. So,
Is this the same
but
grandma that was in the church?
no, different one. But
Other
this
grandma.
grandma
Okay.
is actually like this grandma is my nana. She's like it's my dad's mom, and she's just
Okay.
like honestly like another mom to me. Like honestly, she calls me my dad a lot, and I think it's like she has this weird thing where like I just am one of her kids. You know what I mean? And like it's I don't know. I love my nana so much, and like she's uh I don't know, like a lot of the like coolest times in my life. She's the one who like she lived in California, and so I'd go out there, and then she took me to Disneyland in sixth grade, and like she made some of those like crazy things happen. You know what I mean? Like it was always like, oh, I'm going to Nana's, dude. Like we're gonna
There's
eat
a
good, we're gonna
special
have a good
bond
time.
between boys and their grandmas. I have two
Yeah,
sons and a daughter, and there is definitely a special bond between boys and their grandmas, for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
She's she's just like I don't know. She's an amazing woman, and
Love
I Oh, but that song is like literally, it sounds like this like fun, happy song, but it's about how like your best day can also be your fucking worst day at the same time, and how you can have that up high, big cloud, but then you can fucking fall off that big cloud so fucking quick, and then you're just like in this weird like ether thing. So like that was like a new thing for me writing something like, and I don't even really know if it's like that comes across that straightforward, because I've heard people tell me they think it's like some relationshipy vibes, and I'm like, okay. So it's like which that is throughout the album too, so I get that just like relationship breaking apart and stuff. So like that was a lot of the thematic stuff on that album, and just like coming to terms with like, oh man, like thinking you really want that, and then actually realizing like, oh, that actually ain't even really like, and then coming to understand like that's not, two people got to be so aligned, you know what I mean, of like goals and like things that they want to happen. And so it's like when that doesn't meet up, like that's okay, like that just is okay, it doesn't, and like but that's really fucking hard to like, and when you're in it it's really hard. So then our newest project that we're working on, or that we have, it's called Two for Reals, Two True. And so it's just five, it's like an EP, and it's five songs that you could maybe even say could have went on For Reals, but I like it being an extension of it. And I like the Two for Reals, Two True is a play on the Too Fast, Too Furious, obviously, where it's like, it's a sequel and it's a follow up. And it's like, it's also this acknowledgement of like how ridiculous and heavy these emotions and stuff feel when you're in it, but then when you're out of it, it's like just fucking kind of silly. You know what I mean? Like the way how like wrapped up you can get in shit is kind of silly. And
that.
so so that's kind of like what this new one is like kind of just like that total end of like a relationship vibe, and then like kind of coming to terms with that, but then also being like it ain't really that serious actually, you know what I mean, where it's like um stuff just always feels a lot more intense when you're in it or whatever. So but so I'm really excited to get this project finished up. It's five songs that I really love and I think are really good, and we got to just finish mixing them and send them off to get mastered. um so that'll be really cool. And then we're also putting out with it, it's gonna be five songs that we recorded, and five songs that we recorded live at a jazz club in Denver called Dazzle.
Hell yeah.
So it'll be some of those songs, and then it'll be some of the For Real songs. So it'll kind of connect both of those albums as a bit of both of those together. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited to get that because I literally already got a whole bunch more. Got the next album title popped up, and I got it cooked. So I'm like, okay, what's taking this thing so long? Me. Okay, let's finish it. So we
Yep.
just shot a video the last week, music video for it. We have a couple videos I want to try and get done before we like put it out. And then yeah, so that's like a really like next thing. So hopefully that'll be within the next like couple months. I think we should honestly be done on our side in a few weeks, but getting it sent off to get mastered take a little longer, and then yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm we just do everything. So I'm really bad at timelines. I'm like that was one of the things I had the other day where I was like, there ain't no timeline, so you got to put the timeline down. So
Yep.
that way you can get on it. But at any rate, it's in the works and it's cooking, and we've been getting pieces together and stuff. I feel like we've put out this isn't. I'm not counting this as an album. It's more of an EP because it's like 5 actual songs and then 5 live songs. So I don't know, but we've done like 9 albums at this point, and so like we've gotten like I don't know, I
Lot.
like a lot of releases, and like we've done a lot of just like okay, just put music out. Okay, now this one we're gonna make a bunch of ads for, and we're gonna try and do a bunch of stuff like that. No, we're just gonna drop this one. We're gonna do this. So like I, we've done lots of different methods and stuff that of like releasing stuff, and like so I think that's kind of something that I just am starting to think about now of like how do we want to put this one out? Like how do I want to figure that out? Because I don't know, it's less fun, but that's also like the final sum. You know what I mean? It's like the
Yep.
last part is like actually figuring out how to like put your shit out, and it's like also it's really hard because it's like you have this thing where at least I have this thing when I finish music, I'm just like, here you go. I hope you like it, and then please take it and listen to it. And if you don't, that's okay too. But if you like it, send it to somebody, and I love it, and that's awesome. And we really like it and worked really hard, and I hope that's it though.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I want you to tell everybody listening where they can find you, where they can find your music, and anything else you'd like to let anybody know.
Yes, you can find us on Instagram is like our biggest. We Instagram probably is like our main thing. I feel like so Instagram at satellite pilot, satellite underscore pilot, and we on iTunes, Spotify, wherever people stream their music, they can find us. We've got some videos on YouTube, some live performances, some music videos. So you can find us on YouTube at satellite pilot. Or if you just look up satellite pilot a few times in there, it'll start populating some stuff, maybe, hopefully. um
We'll see what the roulette of YouTube's got for you.
yeah, exactly, but maybe if you type it 2 times it will for sure find us because we have a self-titled album, so if you put it in twice it'll probably pull us up. That's what I always tell people at shows. I always say if you look up satellite pilot, you should find this album. So that is that. I just yeah, appreciate you having me on and talking, and
I
yeah,
appreciate you for spending the time with me. This was really awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
You too, Sarah. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. Please be sure to leave a review of the show. It would mean so much to me, and it helps get this podcast into the ears of even more fellow music fans. If you're not already following the show on social media, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Dropped Among This Crowd Podcast, or check out datcmediacompany.com for more. Thank you again. I'll see you around these parts real soon. Mad love.